Mr. President, and thank you very much for convening us today. As far as India and Africa are concerned, we share a unique, historical, and time-tested friendship. India believes that Africa's rise is essential for true multipolarity in the global order, and we are indeed committed to that end. We've always worked with Africa per Africa's priorities, both bilateral and multilateral channels. Even as we meet our own development targets, this tradition of South-South solidarity continues to strengthen. For India, therefore, our partnership with Africa is and will remain a top priority. And it has been our consistent position that there cannot be any peace without development. No society or nation has so far managed to achieve peace and stability without eradicating poverty and providing basic human development and economic opportunities to its people. Sustainable economic growth calls for investment in education, in health, in infrastructure, in agriculture, energy, security, amongst other areas. Thus, financing for development holds the key. This can be facilitated by genuine partnerships that empower the Africans and take into account Africa's priorities. We have time and again stressed on the cruciality of certain action points to enable a larger role for the African region. Allow me to set these out. First and foremost, in our continuous endeavor to provide impetus to the voice and aspirations of the Global South, we have maintained that the continued denial of representation in the permanent category of membership is a blot on the collective credibility of this Council. While India has always supported the Esselvini Consensus and the CERT Declaration and called for permanent African representation in an expanded Council, those who are responsible for denial by delay and perpetuating a historical injustice must be called out. 2, on matters related to peace and security, the Security Council should respect a regional approach adopted by countries who are involved and work in collaboration with regional organizations to address these shared challenges. 3, the spread of terrorism in Africa is a matter of serious concern. Terrorist outfits like armed groups deserve the priority attention of the Council in their response to addressing security threats confronting Africa today. Capacity constraints and the lack of sustained financing have indeed become major impediments in the fight against terrorism. 4, peacekeeping operations and special political missions need to be sufficiently mandated and resourced to implement respective mandates. Our experience in peacekeeping in Africa shows that missions often struggle to implement unimplementable and unclear mandates. Peacekeeping missions should, as a direct consequence of what I have said, have clear and well thought out exit strategies. Finally, sustainable peace and security is possible only if external forces do not intervene for vested interests. This calls for making African voices stronger in multilateral organizations so that they can argue their own case and call out external interferences. Thus, it is high time that the Committee of Nations gives due credence to the African member states. It is this conviction which drove India to successfully campaign for the admission of the African Union into the G20 during our presidency in 2023. The Summit of the Future, looking ahead, to be held in September this year, presents a precious window of opportunity to display our collective commitment to reform the existing multilateral system and strengthen both the capacities and the role that our friends from Africa might play. Thank you very much, Mr. President.